I'm Simon, one of the presenters of Forensic Forecast. I'd like to welcome you along to a special video that I've prepared, that I've had in mind for a little while. Basically, as a forensic phone examiner, I have thought from time to time about the effectiveness of Faraday equipment and things like that for blocking out the signal for mobile phones. And I've looked around at the cost of these things and I thought, surely there's got to be a cheaper way. And so that's kind of led me to do some digging around on the internet, and I found what you may believe at the moment is a bit of a crazy idea, but we'll wait and see if it actually works. I plan on taking two of these into this, a two-man tent at the cost of about £10, after I cover it in a lot of this. So that's the plan, is to cover a tent in plenty of foil and to do several tests involving 3G, GSM networks, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and seeing just what a foil covered tent will block out, if anything. If it works, it's a £12 Faraday tent, which would be amazingly cheap. So let's have a go. How hard can it be? Alright, so now the tent is pretty much foiled. There's a couple of strips left to go on, but they will go on with the aid of camera person once I'm inside, thereby completing the shield. Anyone who's not aware of how Faraday equipment works, it works as a way of blocking out radio signals and thus preventing things from connecting to whatever network it's supposed to be connected to. So we'll see what happens. Okay, you can see, looking at both of these handsets, so far, okay, they're lying down, not in the best position, but so far we have HSDPA signal on this one, and we have 2 bars. And the other handset, we actually have 3 bars of, in fact 4 here, of signal. So we'll see how these look once they're inside. Okay, so here I am, looking more scary than usual, in fact, in night vision within my Faraday tent. There's not really much to see. It's basically, looks like a normal tent but a bit darker. The next thing for me to do is to have a look at these phones and see if in fact the signal level has dropped, or if the signal level is there at all. So that's the next thing to test. Okay, so you can see, looking at my Touch HD, that the signal has dropped. It kind of deviates between 1 and 2 bars. Obviously there is still a signal, meaning that the rather weak setup I have doesn't actually really work. Let's try the other one. Okay, you can see, looking at this one, we still have 2 bars on it, so there's probably virtually no difference in being here to being outside of it. That, and it's starting to get quite warm. Okay, I've composed a short message that I'm going to send from one to the other. I can't imagine it's really going to make any difference because we already know there's a signal, but just to see if shielding both ways makes any real difference at all, the message is, this is a test, and it's going to be sent to the other handset. So that message, there we go, we can see it being received by the other phone before I even had the acknowledgement on mine. So fairly conclusive proof a homemade Faraday tent. Quite simply, doesn't really work. Okay, so although we try to seal up some of the gaps, we can still say quite clearly that a homemade Faraday cage or a Faraday tent doesn't really work. If you want a Faraday tent and one that actually blocks out a signal, you could buy a tent and wrap it in loads of layers of foil, which might just about work, or you could just pay someone else to make one for you. I personally think the latter's the better option. And on that note, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again for another podcast. Bye for now.